This video is going to show you how to set up the master products in Connect Bonus. To get to the master product setup, we're going to scroll down and we're going to get to the administration tab. Once we're there, we're going to go over and down to the master product setup. The master product setup is going to allow you to set and develop products within each line of insurance. It is going to allow you to establish a bonus for each product to your team members. It will allow you to enter the revenue that you make on each product from the company. And it will also allow you to set the amount of credit you get on each product towards scorecard or travel. Now, all the products, when entered into Connect Bonus, are entered with an annual premium, except auto insurance. Auto insurance is going to be entered with a 6-month premium. So let's go ahead and look at how we can set up these products. Now, what I've done is I have copied how I pay my team, which I've developed this over the last 7 or 8 years. It works great. It drives their behavior and it influences their results. I'm going to show you how to add a new product. And so if you want a whole new different product, you're going to just hit the blue plus sign and you're going to have a new product. Now, whatever you type in the description is what your team is going to see. So for example, if you wanted to pay for standard auto and you wanted to pay different just for that, the next 4 fields are in decimal format. So what bonus do you want to pay to your team? Percentage. Do you want to pay a flat bonus? Now, I don't normally recommend a flat bonus unless we get paid that way from the company. What credit do we get, or what revenue do we get from the company? How do we get paid? And then what premium credit do we get for the sale? So let's say I wanted to pay a bonus to my team of 10%. So 0.10 is obviously 10%. I'm not going to pay a flat bonus. And the revenue, if you're on a 97 contract, you're going to make 10% for the first 6 months of the sale. You're going to make 10% the second 6 months. So what we're going to try and do is we want to annualize the revenue. And so we're going to double up the percentage because the employee is putting a 6-month premium. We're trying to figure out how much we're going to make annually. So what we're going to do is we're going to double up whatever we normally make. So if we're doing 10%, now we're going to put 20% in, and that way when the employee puts the sale in, it'll give us the correct revenue for the year. Then the premium credit, 1 in a decimal format, is 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and then we're going to be able to come back here and we're going to be able to look at it. And right here it says standard auto. The bonus is 10%, no flat bonus. The agency revenue is 20%, which is going to be annualized. And we get 100% of the premium credit towards scorecard or travel or whatever you're trying to qualify for. So that's how you set up a new product. If you want to edit the product, you're just going to hit edit. And then you can come back to the same screen and you can call it something different. You can change the bonus, revenue, premium credit. The other way that you can deal with this is you can also decide that you don't want to have this product in your system. So you can hit delete. It'll say, are you sure that you want to delete it? And I'm going to say sure, yeah. And it's gone. So that's how you modify the products. Now let me take a few minutes and explain my philosophy of how I pay and why I pay and how it drives results. In my office, I want to pay my team when they produce the sale. I don't want to pay when they're just taking an order from a customer. So if we have an added auto, I am not going to pay a bonus for that at all. There's no bonus. You'll notice that for an added car, we do make, the 10% the first 6 months, 10% the second 6 months, so we're going 20%. We do get 100% of the premium credit towards scorecard, and so that's how that works. If it is a reinstate, where the client just didn't pay their bill, and now we've got to do a reinstate app, again, my employee is just taking an order, no bonus. You will see we get paid on it, but because it's a reinstate, it does not count towards scorecard, and so we have 0 on the premium credit. A defector, so somebody that has left my agency, but they call back on their own, again, my employee is taking an order, so we're going to have no bonus paid. Now, what do I do pay for is internet leads, raw new, and referral business. Now, when I was buying internet leads, and I've done it for years, sold over the phone. So internet lead, sold over the phone, client does not come in. As you will probably agree, that is the worst business into your agency. And I don't believe all autos have an equal value that come to my agency. So that behavior is the one that I want to reward the least, because I really don't want that. So if my team member doesn't, I have to buy an internet lead and they sell it over the phone, I'm going to pay 5% of the 6-month premium. Now, I believe that if I can get every new client to come in my office, it's going to be much better for everybody. So when they come in and when you have a good onboarding process, now you're developing a relationship with that client, so your lapse can is much lower. Now you have the ability to pivot to financial services, and we sell lots of financial services to new clients. And most importantly, when they come in, we can ask and get referrals with introductions. So that's how my agency is so successful. So I always want to pay more to my team member when they get the new client to come in. So if I still have to buy an internet lead, but they get an appointment and they do the onboarding process, I'm going to pay them 6% instead of 5%. Now, if I don't have to buy an internet lead, then I can afford to pay my team a bigger bonus. And quite frankly, I'd rather give it to my team member than to the internet lead companies. So if I don't have to buy the internet lead and it comes to us, but they still sell it over the phone, no appointment, I'm going to pay 10% of the 6-month premium. If it's raw new and they get that same client to come in, I'm going to pay them more. I'm going to pay them 12. Now, where my agency lives and where we really are successful is if we get a new client, let's say that was a statefarm.com lead, we get that new client, both spouses, to come in for the onboarding appointment. We ask and we get referrals with an introduction. Now, this is the golden egg. This is where I want to live in my agency. This is what produces the best results. So if we get referrals and then we sell one of those referred people, that's where I'm going to pay the most. Now, 99% of our referred people come in. But just to keep it consistent, I did referral over the phone. I'm going to pay 17%. And the one where my team gets paid the most, and this is the behavior that I want in my office every day, is they get a referral and they get that referral to come in for an appointment. So I'm going to pay 20% of the 6-month premium. Now you'll notice that 20% of the 6-month premium is my first full year revenue. That's the only behavior that I'm willing to pay the first full year revenue. Now, when we implemented this system, my team, we were buying internet leads. My sales guys were using internet leads. And when I went to my sales guys and I explained, I don't like this behavior of selling internet leads over the phone. And I do want the behavior of you getting referrals and getting them into the office so we can get lots of financial services and lots more referrals. I'm going to pay you 4 times as much for this activity of referrals in the office. So another way to think about it is you have to sell 4 internet leads over the phone to equal 1 referral in the office. So I kind of explained it to my team. Within 3 weeks, every single team member came to me and said, "Boss, I don't want internet leads anymore. I'm going to go to the referrals." And our production went up. Our financial services went up. Our referrals went up. Our lapse can went down. And it was the behavior that I wanted. But the system rewards the behavior that I want. Now, if it's a defector where they left you and the team member is actively pursuing that client to get them back, they've got an SMP or they've got a pending follow-up and they're calling the client, they win the business back, I'm going to pay a bonus for that. If it's a state to state, where somebody's moving into your state, Normally that business is really good. They've normally been with State Farm for a long time and they're not shopping and they're not leaving. So I want that business. So I'm going to reward my team to capture that. Now, if it's quote and bind, so it's 3 a.m. with Jake, and again, the same philosophy. All those people that bind at 3 a.m. with Jake, I want them to come in. I want a relationship, financial services, and referrals. So I want my sales guys to reach out to those folks, and I want them to get them to come in. Now, if there's no appointment, if they can't get them to come in, my salespeople make nothing. If they get the client to come in and we have the onboarding appointment, I'm going to pay 3% to my salespeople, even though they didn't close the business. Now, 3% is what we make the first 6 months. If they can get them to come in and we sell something else, we sell another line of insurance, we're really making a relationship, I'm going to pay them 7% on the auto, even though they didn't close it. Then obviously whatever else they sell in addition, they're going to get the full bonus on that. So that's auto products. That's my philosophy. It works. If you want to adjust any of this, you just hit edit and you can change any of it. If you want to delete some of them, that's fine. If you want to add your own products, you can do that too. So let's move on to Fire. Fire products, and you're going to see this, are duplicated. And what I mean by that is here is a homeowner's policy. You'll notice there's no bonus. Down here, duplicated, is personally produced homeowners. There is a bonus of 9%. So what's the difference? The one up here with no bonus is your team member did not generate the sale. And a good example would be you already have a client, they already have homeowners insurance with you. They call you up one day and say, hey, we're selling our existing house and we're buying a new house and we want you to insure that too. So basically your team member's doing a rewrite app, and I don't believe they should get a bonus for taking an order. So that would be a situation where they're not going to get a bonus. You have renters, condos, PAPs, and boats. Again, the client just walks in and says, hey, I got a boat, I want to get it insured. They're just taking an order, no bonus. Down here is a personally produced renters, condos, PAP, boat. If your new salespeople are capturing the new households, obviously they should get a bonus. If your existing team, service team member is taking a payment from an auto-only client and they pivot and they say, hey, why don't we have your home or renters? And they end up writing a renters. Well, they develop the sale and they're going to get a bonus. So every product is like that. Everything's duplicated. I pay 9% on everything on Fire, except, again, if it's a referral to us and we sell that person that was referred to us, you put it under referral Fire, and I'm going to pay more, just like we do in auto. I'm going to pay 10%, which is my first year revenue, instead of 9. Same thing with the quote and bind, no appointment, appointment kept. And oh, one more thing. These little bars right here means that you can move the order, and I'm actually going to move this up 1, and so it's in the proper order. Now you can move these all around. Whatever order they are here is how your team is going to see them when they hit the drop down when they're entering a sale. So no appointment, appointment kept, and then we have a sale. We have flood insurance, we have a surety bond. If you have something unique in your state, you can go ahead and add a new product. You can add whatever you want. Now, bank, I pay my team exactly like State Farm pays us. So on a car loan, the team member enters the amount of interest on the loan. And then based off of that, the system is going to say, okay, we're going to pay 5% of the interest with a maximum of 150 and a minimum of 35. The computer does all the math. If we have a checking, savings, Visa, or a short-term CD, State Farm pays us $25 per, a flat bonus. And so that's exactly how I pay my team when they open up one of those products. If you have a mortgage certification in your state and you're licensed, you can pay for mortgages. Now, most team members do not have their mortgage certification. So you'll notice here that the bonus is 0. Okay, you will see that the revenue to the agency for a HELOC is $250. You'll see for a mortgage the revenue is $500. So if the agent is closing those sales, you still want to put the sales in so that when you look at your bank numbers for the year, they're accurate. Now, if you do have a team member that is certified and they're doing their own and you want to pay a bonus, then all you're going to do for a HELOC, you would just hit edit and you'd come over here and say, I want to pay a flat bonus of $250 or whatever you want, and it will pop that in there for you and it'll pay a bonus to your team. Same thing with a mortgage. If you have someone certified, you want to pay them a bonus, you just hit edit and it's real easy. Health products. So most states have Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Blue Cross Blue Shield is obviously not a State Farm product, and as you probably know, the reporting and the pay and who kept their policy and who canceled their policy many times is 4 or 5 months behind, so we never know what's going on. So I made a decision in my agency, because it's so hard to track, is every time we sell Blue Cross Blue Shield in open enrollment, I'm just going to pay my team a flat $100. And they said they were happy with that, and we're just going to do it. Now, if it's not in open enrollment, we make nothing. So our agency revenue is zero. However, we still get 10% premium credit when a Blue Cross Blue Shield is written outside of open enrollment. So I still reward my team. I still pay them a flat $25 every time they write one. Even though I'm not getting anything directly, I'm still getting scorecard credit for it. Again, if you want to change that, you can. If you're in a state that does not have Blue Cross Blue Shield, you can simply delete the products, or what I'd recommend is grab them and drag them down here to the bottom, and then if you ever do get that product, you've already got it in there. Now on the State Farm products, I typically pay about 90% on health and life of what I make first year. So on a hospital income policy, we make 20%, so I'm going to pay my team 18%. On disability, we make 40, I'm going to pay 36, and you can go right down the line and see what I do. Now, when I'm paying about 90% of the first year revenue, I'm assuming a couple of things. I'm assuming that I'm going to open up that product line in Scorecard, and in doing so, whatever we make during the year, we're pretty much going to double that again on Scorecard. So I know I'm going to get some money out of that. I also know that I'm going to get renewals on all these products. So that's where I'm making the bulk of my money is Scorecard and renewals. If for whatever reason you go, well, we never open up health on the Scorecard and we're not going to do that in the foreseeable future, then if you're going to make 20%, maybe you want to think about maybe splitting it and giving them 10% and you keep 10% is one way to handle that. But you can come in here and change these percentages to whatever you want. So life products are pretty straightforward. Again, I'm going to pay about 90% of the first year revenue. So on a whole life, we make 30%. I'm going to pay my team 27. On a limited pay whole life, we make 20%. I'm going to give my team about 18%. Now on universal life, it's a little different. As you may know, the amount of premium on a universal life is flexible. So State Farm pays us 30%, but it's not 30% of all the premium. There's something called primary compensation premium, or they call it PCP. There's a table based on the age of the insured and how many thousands of coverage, and that determines how much of the premium we get paid for on the primary compensation premium. So an example would be if you had a client and you sold a universal life policy, maybe the premium's $1,000 a year. When you do the primary compensation calculation, it comes up and says maybe 600 of that is PCP. So when you enter a sale into Connect, you say universal life, the quantity is 1, so there's 1 application, and you put $600. Now State Farm pays the agent 30%. I'm going to pay my team member 27. The excess, or anything above the PCP premium, you have to go in and make a second entry. Same client, you go 0 on the app count, so we don't double the app count. And then whatever the premium is, the extra, in this example it's $400, State Farm pays us 11%, I give my team 10%. So that's how you do that. Final expense, instant answer terms, select, ROP, all very, very straightforward. Now on the annuities, I used to give my team 100% because I want to write a lot of annuities because I knew I was going to get it on the scorecard again. But now that the rules have changed, so on a SPIA, we make 3%. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split that with my team. So I'm going to give them half of it. So they make 1.5%. I'm going to make 1.5%. Unfortunately, we had to take the premium credit down to 0 on all the annuities. But everything else is pretty straightforward on life products. So we've covered all of the different lines of insurance, and the last one is miscellaneous. Now, miscellaneous obviously is not a line of insurance. Miscellaneous is where we put all the activities that you want to either pay for or you want to coach within Connect Bonus. So I've put a whole bunch of activities in here already, and you will see that if you have IFR kept, you can pay for any of these activities. So if I wanted to pay for an IFR kept, every time my team member did that, I would just hit edit and I would go, I want to pay a flat bonus of $10 every time that happens, and I hit save. So now what you're going to see is here's your IFR kept, and here's a $10 bonus, flat bonus every time that happens. You don't have to pay for activities, but you can. A lot of agents go, you know what, if my team member gets me in front of a client, a qualified client for a mortgage, I'm going to pay a $100 bonus to my team member. And so, but again, all this is very flexible. Now, if you are tracking activities, so you could, for example, like my new salespeople, we track their activities. And what do I want to know about their activities when we're trying to coach them and get them to be successful? The first thing I want to know is how many households are they quoting each day? How many of those households are they selling? Once they've sold them, again, my philosophy is I want every single client to come in. Then how many new business appointments did they get out of those new clients? Once they come in, I expect them to have auto loan refinance applications submitted. I expect them to have a simple conversation or some pivot to financial services. If they've got a home, I expect a triangle appointment. And then ultimately, if they're doing all of this right, next week, if they're making the pivots, asking the great questions, next week, that new client comes in for a second appointment for financial services. And that's how we coach our activities. It works really, really well. So that is the master product setup. And hopefully after watching this video, you feel comfortable on being able to customize this for your agency. And it is very flexible, and you can really motivate your team and drive results through this setup.